After getting called out on 90 Day, The Last Resort, Jasmine exposes Gino's habit that's core to their marital troubles. One of 90 Day Fiancé's most notorious couples is now in therapy, as Gino Palazzolo and Jasmine Pineda are keeping things breezy within the Season 2 cast of 90 Day, The Last Resort. It's looking like their problems will bleed into the schedule as the couple continues to reveal why their marriage is on the verge of collapse. Gino spoke his piece in the latest episode, and after getting called out, Jasmine had some choice comments to make about her husband. As viewers wait to see Jasmine throwdown with Natalie Mordovtseva in an upcoming episode, she's on Instagram stories talking about why she and Gino joined the show in the first place. Fortunately, Reddit captured her thoughts before they expired, giving us a better picture of the issues she's dealing with regarding her marriage. Jasmine suggests Gino's troubling habit is a major factor in their marital struggles. While Jasmine has often suffered unfavorable edits in past seasons of 90 Day Fiancé due to her temper, it's worth noting Gino has given her plenty of reasons to be upset over the years. He's been caught messaging other women involved in the show over the years and even sent nudes of his wife to an ex, who then sent it to an employer who fired her. It seemed Gino had turned over a new leaf when Jasmine finally agreed to come to the United States, but that doesn't sound like the case. Jasmine noted in her stories that the story of Gino quitting his job to help her get acclimated to life in the United States was all an act, and he was actually up to something else. My husband didn't quit his job to help me adapt to a new country and support me. Unfortunately, he did to be all day long in front of a computer and neglected me. That's why, among other things, going to couples retreat was very important to try and save our marriage. In a follow-up, Jasmine shared an image talking about the negative effects of a pornography addiction. She's seemingly suggesting his computer time was spent looking at explicit images and, as we've known for a while, not having with Jasmine. She's been candid about their troubles in the past, but it seems she reached a breaking point due to this behavior. Whether or not they'll be able to address and fix that on 90 Day, The Last Resort remains to be seen. Gino revealed Jasmine is staying with other men on 90 Day, The Last Resort. Jasmine's response is likely due to 90 Day, The Last Resort, highlighting Gino's comments that Jasmine has spent the night with other men since they were married. Cinema Blend reported on a suspicion this was happening when people spotted her uploading photos in an unfamiliar home. The reveal that she was with other men and Gino's comments on posts about their relationship initially led me to believe they were no longer married. Given these latest comments by Jasmine, I wonder if they could mend the fence and repair their relationship following 90 Day, The Last Resort. I'm still leaning more toward saying no and that they've ultimately split after marriage, but I'm invested and want to watch and find out why. I think 90 Day Fiancé, before the 90 Days, Gino Palazzolo is intentionally trying to rile up Jasmine Pineda. Warning! The following contains spoilers for the 90 Day Fiancé, before the 90 Days Season 6 episode Overboard. Read at your own risk. Considering Gino Palazzolo and Jasmine Pineda have been part of some of the wildest fights within the 90 Day Fiancé franchise so far, I probably shouldn't have been surprised to see early tension between them in their return for Before the 90 Days Season 6. That said, the couple has kept me on my toes with genuine confusion over the early part of their storyline. Gino was surprisingly throwing around a lot of attitude in the latest episode from Gino, and I think I have an idea as to why. I already know I'm going to rewatch some of this episode with my Max subscription, because Gino's attitude just sprang out of nowhere and genuinely surprised Jasmine as much as anyone. Let's get into what happened, and why I think Gino might be specifically angling to get Jasmine to leave him in before the season is over. How Gino came into conflict with Jasmine in the latest episode. Jasmine was eager to see Gino when he arrived in Panama, but it didn't seem the feeling was mutual. While Jasmine wanted to get intimate once they arrived back at the apartment, Gino made a point to make it known he wasn't interested in all that, which initially didn't seem all that unusual. After all, we've seen plenty of 90 Day Fiancé cast members lose their cool on long flights, or after them, and they're often not in the mood to go sightseeing or anything that isn't sleeping, which includes sex. With that said, Gino seemed to make a point to make it known to Jasmine he didn't want to have sex with her, and she was hurt by it. Jasmine ultimately returned later and asked Gino if they could start over, possibly by reconnecting over dinner. Gino was tasked with prepping the vegetables for their dish, and was seen at the table with a knife attempting to dice up some vegetables. He was having some difficulty getting the job done, and when Jasmine asked him if he was okay, Gino made a big stink about her not owning a cutting board. He then grumpily refused to cook without the proper tools, and went back to bed without eating any dinner. It was a wild reaction for a guy who hadn't seen his fiancée in months, but it makes sense if he's trying to sabotage the relationship, as I am speculating. Why Gino might be trying to get his partner upset. Ever since his first season 6 scene of 90 Day Fiancé, before the 90 days, Gino has said he's worried about the next stage of his relationship with Jasmine. While it seems they've moved past the trust issues of their previous season, Gino is definitely worried that Jasmine's increasing need for a luxurious lifestyle is unsustainable. A modest Midwestern home is not going to have the same allure as a luxury apartment in Panama, and even if Jasmine doesn't know that, he does. Gino also seems much more interested in the prenuptial agreement than he was previously, and I imagine this could be why. He's willing to stick with Jasmine, provided she's up for the lifestyle he's willing to give, but he has a limit of how far he's willing to bend. To Gino's credit, he's already bankrolling a $3,000 a month apartment for Jasmine, so he's definitely not coming across as being incredibly stingy. Whatever is going on, here's H. Hoping this couple can figure things out and decide if they're going to take that next step to marriage or not. Additionally, I'm also curious to see how Jasmine would fare in Michigan, so I am a bit biased about wanting to see this relationship reach the next stage. On TLC on Sundays at. We'll see how Jasmine and Gino's situation develops further as this season continues and whether or not she'll make her way to the United States or not. Warning! The following contains spoilers to the 90 Day Fiancé Season 10 episode You May Now Kiss the Bride. Read at your own risk. 90 Day Fiancé Season 10 is finally digging into its final episodes before the latest tell-all, and while that means we'll soon get a break from some of these newlyweds, one couple in particular is already confirmed for the cast of Happily Ever After. Season 8. Gino Palazzolo and Jasmine Pineda will roll right into the next spin-off, and the previous announcement makes a lot more sense following their major post-wedding reveal. Despite writing at one point that I wished 90 Day Fiancé would move on from Gino and Jasmine, the latest announcement at their wedding reception actually made me more eager to see their story play out in a positive manner. I was right to rank them where they are in our list for Happily Ever After's biggest drama couples, as their plans post-marriage involve more than bringing her children from Panama to the United States. Gino and Jasmine are going to try and have a child earlier this season on 90 Day Fiancé. Gino made it clear to Jasmine he was more than willing to house and be a father to her 2 boys, but he also wanted a child of his own. Season 10 was the first time we really saw a different side of Jasmine and how she spends time with her children away from her fiancé. While there's no denying she is a good mother, Jasmine made it clear in so many words that she was done having kids. Apparently, some conversations occurred off camera because Jasmine announced to Gino's entire family during the wedding reception that they would try to make a baby. That's not something I would want to announce to my family, but considering how open she is about her life, I'm not surprised she chose to announce it. How could having children factor into the Happily Ever After? Season 8 story? Ahead of 90 Day Fiancé. Happily Ever After? Premiering on TLC or streaming for those with a Max subscription, we do have a tease of what's in store for them. It's said both feel betrayed by promises not being upheld, and I'd have to think that one of those promises is the effort put into making a baby. Granted, there could be a lot of other issues at play, as Gino proved just as recently as Season 10 that he's still as untrustworthy as ever. Another potential issue I could see coming up is the challenge of bringing Jasmine's children to the United States. When she first arrived, she was pretty upset Gino left his job without telling her, as she said it would make bringing them over difficult. Perhaps once she realized the gravity of how much that decision impacted the ability to bring her 2 sons over, she could take that out on him. She could even interpret his actions as a way of leaving behind her old family and making her choose a new life abroad. Could this be the next married 90 Day Fiancé couple to call it quits? We will likely find out by the end of this year. 90 Day Fiancé. Before the 90 days, Jasmine addresses her critics while explaining why she wasn't afraid to talk about troubles with Gino. Gino Palazzolo and Jasmine Pineda have discussed a lot of issues in their relationship in their latest episodes of 90 Day Fiancé, Before the 90 Days, with sex being a major one. Jasmine was dissatisfied with the lack of intimacy between them, while Gino has maintained he'd be more in the mood for if they talked about other pressing issues they had and resolved them. It's a storyline that, frankly, I'd imagine most other couples might not readily talk about on television, but Jasmine confirmed in an interview it wasn't a problem for her at all. I had a chance to speak to 90 Day Fiancé's Jasmine about her story with Gino and whether there was any apprehension on her end to discuss her life, or lack thereof, so openly for TLC viewers and those with a Max subscription. Jasmine explained why it wasn't a problem for her at all and why she wasn't ashamed to talk about it. I'm a very transparent person with no filter when it comes to expressing my desires, what I want in life. I go straight to the point. I'm not going to put makeup on things. I say things as they come to mouth without thinking. And that includes I do believe that there shouldn't be shame on you just wanting to explore it with the person that you want, because it's not that I'm promiscuous and all I think about is sex. It's trying to find a connection that, yes, because it's physical, but it's also emotional with your partner. Jasmine wanted it to be clear that while is important to her, it's mainly important in this context because it's tied to her relationship with Gino. She wanted to feel a connection with her partner and the man she ultimately hopes to marry someday. Even though she can't speak for Gino, there was definitely some urgency to Jasmine wanting to figure out the issue, and as she told Cinema Blend, there's a reason for that too. 90 Day Fiancé. Before the 90 days, viewers have to recognize that it had been a while since they saw each other, so it was on her mind. And remember that it was a long-distance relationship and we haven't seen each other, like in a month. We're talking about the minimum is for 5 to 6 months, and of course he was needing it. No shame on my game, laughs. 90 Day Fiancé has leaned into more in its storylines in recent years, to mixed reaction from fans. Gino and Jasmine's talk thus far hasn't gone as far as some of the more explicit bedroom scenes we've seen, but the conversations are certainly more graphic than what one might expect from reality TV. Some might criticize Jasmine's openness about her life or her decision to have an OnlyFans account, but she's okay with it. While the star told me that she could understand the perspective of critics who feel she should be more discreet or vague when discussing it on the show, that's not who she is. I don't feel ashamed being so open when it comes to SE, but I do understand that there are some people that believe that it should be private or it shouldn't be discussed on TV. But well, this is stories about Gino and I, and this is how we are. We are not going to play something that we are not just because there are cameras. Cinema Blend spoke to Jasmine at a time when 90 Day Fiancé viewers are wondering whether or not she's still with Gino. If she is, then there's a chance she's currently in Michigan and taking steps toward marriage and living in the United States full-time. We likely won't know the answer until closer to the end of the season. 0 Day Fiancé. Before the 90 days still has some time left, and as we've seen in the past, there's no shortage of twists, turns, and reveals we can learn on the road to the tell-all with Sean Robinson. For example, Jasmine learned at their previous tell-all that Gino had reached out to a female friend of Ben Rathbun's without her knowing. Is some other big shock like that on the way for either? I can't wait to find out. Catch new episodes of 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days on TLC on Sundays at. More of Gino and Jasmine are on the way for sure, and I'm looking forward to seeing them work on their issues further and possibly move one step closer to tying the knot. Mick Jost is a content producer for Cinema Blend with his hand in an eclectic mix of television goodness. Star Trek is his main jam, but he also regularly reports on happenings in the world of Star Trek, WWE, Doctor Who, 90 Day Fiancé, Quantum Leap, and Big Brother. He graduated from the University of Southern Indiana with a degree in journalism and a minor in radio and television. He's great at hosting panels and appearing on podcasts if given the chance as well. 90 Day Fiancé's Gino Palazzolo's latest comments raise more questions about his marriage with Jasmine Pineda. Warning! The following may contain spoilers for Gino and Jasmine's relationship on 90 Day Fiancé. Happily ever after, catch up on their story with a Max subscription and read at your own risk. Gino Palazzolo and Jasmine Pineda are finally married, but the season of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? That's airing on the schedule has shown serious issues in their relationship. After the latest episode showed her walking home barefoot following an argument about a beauty pageant entrance fee, fans spotted developments online that led to speculation that the couple split after marriage. Gino has remained quiet on the matter, though his recent comments on a meme might be more telling than anything about where things currently stand with him and Jasmine as viewers scour the web and ask questions about Jasmine Pineda allegedly living with another man in Michigan. Gino made some interesting comments on a meme posted by 90dayfiancé.news. and .memes. The meme called out Jasmine for calling herself independent despite the fact that he had been paying for her rent, utilities, and cosmetic surgeries when she was living in Panama. Gino popped up in the comments and said this, "As someone who has followed this couple since their inaugural season, I'm used to Gino being his own worst enemy with his words and actions. Even he would know that calling out Jasmine in front of the public would elicit a bad reaction from her at this point. However, I can't imagine him supporting a meme like this unless he's deliberately trying to make her angry. Either that or he is no longer worried about Jasmine's reaction to what he says, which would further support the theory that they are no longer a couple. If Jasmine and Gino are no longer together, it wouldn't be the most shocking reveal. She's been upset in the latest 90-Day Fiancé Happily Ever After episodes because she and Gino were unable to bring her children from Panama over as soon as she liked. Jasmine loves her children very much, and if she found out Gino deliberately or knowingly led her to the United States knowing her children wouldn't be here for a while, I could see her leaving. We also know that Jasmine was very upset about Gino wanting a prenuptial agreement, and she's continually hammered at the fact she feels entirely reliant on him for money. The current rumor is that she's living with another man in Michigan and possibly funding herself with money she's made from her account on OnlyFans. Neither Gino nor Jasmine has confirmed they're no longer together, though that's likely because they've signed some sort of NDA from 90-Day Fiancé that prevents them from talking about the current status of their relationship. Given their storylines are filmed so far in advance, it's entirely possible we could see an eventual split, assuming that happened, in a future season. For now, we can only speculate on what's happening, but these recent rumors and comments certainly cause one to suspect the couple is having trouble. 90-Day Fiancé. Before the 90 Days, new cast includes franchise vets Gino and Jasmine, so hold on to your hats. 90-Day Fiancé fans are in for an entertaining summer, as one of the TLC franchise's best spin-offs will return for Season 6. Before the 90 Days is coming back with a new season, and will bring with it one of the most dramatic TV couples of the past year of any series. Hold on to your hats, especially if you're Gino Palazzolo, because he and Jasmine Pineda will be alongside a cast of fresh faces when the new season arrives. Those looking forward to this season might want to refresh themselves on Jasmine and Gino's journey by checking out 90-Day Fiancé on streaming. Even without a huge previously on segment, the trailer below promoting the new season can fill in viewers new and old on some of the details about each new cast member coming to the show to find true love with a significant other abroad. There's so much drama loaded into just that sneak peek. I'm really curious about all of the things we still have yet to see. Below are all the key details to know for each of the new and returning cast members, starting with the most established duo. Gino and Jasmine are back after 90-Day Fiancé, before the 90 Days Season 5, and their relationship seems as chaotic as ever. Despite Gino and Jasmine's wild fight, which involved her ripping off his hat, only for him to brandish an emergency hat to cover his bald spot, we learned they were one of the before the 90 Days Season 5 couples who stayed together, which also held up even after Gino's admission about contacting other women in the last tell-all. They're still engaged and hoping to make it down the aisle in Season 6, so we'll see where things stand after this next batch of episodes. As